As I was reading through the book of Joshua, just a verse jumped out of the page, and just I wanted to share it with you and give you a couple of insights that I learned from it, and hopefully will be beneficial to you. As a way of context, here the people of Israel were ready to enter the promised land. Remember, they had been delivered by the power of God and the leadership of Moses from Egypt through the desert, through 40 years in the wilderness. And this leader, Moses, had passed away. And yet at that time, God selected Joshua to be the leader to carry them into the promised land through the miraculous crossing of the Jordan River. So here we find ourselves with Joshua telling the people, Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. Consecrate yourselves. Make yourselves holy. That's what literally means. Now, remember, we're dealing with God. This is the one true God, the Holy One. As a matter of fact, the Apostle Peter says in 1 Peter 1:15, be just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do. For it is written, be holy because I am holy. Now, for the people of Israel, meant consecrate is to make yourselves holy by ritually washing, abstaining of sexual relations, and cleaning their clothes. As a matter of fact, we find that in Exodus 19:10, when they were in the Mount Sinai, God has just particularly asked them to do that. So that's what they had to do. Now, the Lord was going to do marvelous things, amazing things, the text tells us. And that really means stunning feats, deeds so incredible, leaving witnesses in awe, saying, how do you do that, God? Now, let me ask you this question. Do you desire God to do amazing things in your life? How about your families? This church, First Baptist Bloomfield, or our community? How about our nation? Oh, yes. But first, we must consecrate ourselves before the Lord. That's what the text is telling us, very simply. Now, how do we consecrate ourselves before God? Well, by being obedient to His word. As a matter of fact, Jesus in that priestly prayer in John 17 says, sanctify them by the truth. Your word is truth. Now, at the beginning of the book of Joshua, God speaks to Joshua himself and gives him three encouragements, three exhortations with this phrase, be strong and courageous. In verse 6, as we see it here. In verse 7, be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, that you may be successful wherever you go. Do not let this book of the law depart from your mouth. Meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. You see how God says basically you have to breathe, eat, experience, live out my word. That's what God is telling us. So we need to be obedient to His word in order for us to be prosperous and successful in God's eyes. So that's how we consecrate ourselves, by being obedient to God's word, and also by the reassuring promise of God's presence in our lives, that daily communion with God. Now, the third encouragement, when God said to Joshua, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. You see that reassuring promise? God will be with us. God will never leave us nor forsake us. He will be with us every step of the way. So, first things first. I know it's been a very difficult year for all of us. 2020, we never expected something like this. And yet, we know that God is at work, and we expect Him to do great and marvelous things. But first things first, my friends, let us consecrate our lives to God. And then we will take front seat to the wonderful things that God will do among us. I don't know about you, but I anticipate, knowing God, I anticipate great and marvelous things that He has in store for us in 2020, even the remaining 3 months. So let's look forward to see what God has in store for us, for those who fear Him, as we consecrate our lives before Him. God bless.